Punk
versus Victorian,
by Bailey and Abbey.
with a little steampunk.
The punk era had a very large time span beginning in the 1970s. It eventually worked its way up to 2010 and is just starting back up again. The punk skinheads rude boys fashion back then was very unique. It was a way to make a statement or to express yourself. In the 1970s, punk fashion in the United States would be best described as dirty, simple clothes, ranging from the t-shirts, jeans, leather jacket Ramones look to the low-class, second-hand dress clothes of acts like Television or Patti Smith. They were preferred over the expensive or colorful clothing popular in the disco scene. Punk fashion was influenced by rebellious teenagers and music. Well, those were the main two influences. The Misfits and Black Flag were pretty big during the punk era. Later on, Green Day showed up. Nowadays, punk fashion is influenced by band members and celebrities such as Kat Von D and Manly Self-Indulgence.
Time warp to the Victorian era from 1865 to 1901. The new silhouette breaking out to from the mid to late 1800s, approximately 1865 to 1901, 1901 being Queen Victoria's year of death, gained popularity among leisurely Victorian ladies. The exaggerated hourglass figure in a corset and full hips were still prized, but instead of padding the sides of their skirts, well, they padded the backs, thus creating the bustle. The definition of the word is not known, but they believe it came from the rustling motion created by the skirt. Crinoline, a sort of stiff fabric, was used to poof out the skirt, and then there was an attachment for the bustle. Honestly, that thing looks god awful to wear. But let's carry on, shall we? Corsets were even worn by men. Can you believe that? It was more to slim the figure, not to give them an hourglass shape. Unless they had a little underground secret like Robert Downey Jr. in Sherlock. There are two types of corsets that we actually know of: the overbust corset and the underbust corset. Stays, aka boning, were made with a whalebone, ivory, or wood, and corsets themselves were generally made of flexible material, and the stays were used to toughen them up. If one wore a front lace corset, they were considered, well, kind of poor. But if they wore a back lace corset, they were considered rich because they could afford servants to lace their corsets. Pocahontas is totally getting into the swing of this one. I mean, come on, look at her. Most of the time, though, we see corsets being used in 50 Shades of Grey activity, but we're not going to shed any light on that. And now to steampunk. This is just a short little tidbit just to show you how people have combined the punk aspect and the Victorian aspect and just meshed them together. And it features like the same stuff that we use. And Finn.